so that they are unable to defecate. And this has been going on for over 2 weeks, and we need scientists out there who can help our nanotechnology research team come up with a way for my men to defecate.
Well, my friends, as I dig more and more into Gail Chord, the more I just want to talk about her. And Gail here has talked about a lot of things, having over 1,200 videos on her YouTube channel and being on YouTube for over 13 years. She has been on this escapade for even longer than that. If you remember in my last video about her, we went over some basic knowledge that I know about Gail here. We talked about the Church of Gail, we talked about Karambo and her feelings about other races, and just all this nonsense that she usually spits out on a daily basis. She has a lot of content to be looked through, and today's episode is going to be mainly about her husbands, or her marriage list of men that she wants to marry. I guess they're sort of like suitors, and there's a lot of characters that you're going to have to remember for this. There's Zach Knight, there's Terrence Hughes, there's Bubba, there's Jesus Christ. There's a lot of people on this spaceship. There's a gorilla named Karambo. Just a lot of various characters on the spaceship. However, in this little episode, she talks about how these men on this spaceship, the Church of Gail, all got vagina butts. Now, don't ask me why they have vagina butts or what that is, but the way I can interpret it is that their butts were replaced with vaginas, so they are no longer allowed to defecate. And, you know, I'll just let her speak for herself. You'll see exactly what kind of things she's saying here.
Possibly by maybe letting them poop through their penis, or maybe causing a lining to retract and expand when they poop through the vagina butt. Those were some of the ideas we had. But I'm certain we have space age technology, and you might be able to help them. This is an emergency. If they don't, some of these men, if they don't start defecating soon, they will, I think they call it blood poisoning, from getting germs into your bloodstream. So contact them at gailsmen, GAILSMEN @yahoo.com. I believe that one of the reasons that Jesus gave you the vagina butts, but didn't give you the ability to poop, was to create a scenario how he can show you how bad it can get when you don't do the Gail Commandments.
Of course, the Gail Commandments. Everybody knows the Gail Commandments. If you don't know the Gail Commandments, let me go ahead and show you right here. So Gail here has these commandments of thou shalt go on walks every day, enjoying the day that the Lord has made, unless he made the rainy day or is unsuitable for walks. Then indoor exercises with the window open. A lot of these are just sort of general life advice. It seems all pretty solid. You know, she has a lot of wacky, wild ideas about the world and what's out there, but it does get a little bit weird there, where it says thou shalt make a YouTube video every week to share the victories, defeats, and daily struggles and joys of your life with your followers. This will serve as an archive of your life for future generations of tribulation saints. I don't know what a tribulation saints means, but, you know, it sounds like she wants everybody to be a vlogger, I guess, or something. But a lot of this is general advice, like taking a multivitamin every day, or storing money in a savings account, paying for bills and buying food, that kind of stuff. You know, manage your money well. That's sort of just what she says here. And it's kind of odd because of the things that she has to say. She's very organized. I gotta give her that one.
I believe the 10,000 men, including Viggo Mortensen, who rebelled against me and got furious at me for not caving into their unreasonable demands, did this because they've gone mad. Physical illness can bring out a mental illness. Jesus allowed your physical illness, or your inability to poop, to expose that about half the men on the marriage list have not been doing the Gail Commandments, and as a result of that, now have a mental illness that makes them unfit to be on my marriage list. He knew we can use our space age technology to figure out a way for men with vagina butts to poop. The stress of not being able to poop caused their mental illness to manifest itself. These men need to be Baker acted, see Florida law, and that means we need to get them. We need to get them and put them into treatment. This is an emergency. Before they do something where they're going to harm themselves or others. They're dangerous right now. They're insane. And treated before they do something totally self-destructive. And Every man on my marriage list must be on Seroquel. And if they get off Seroquel, they should probably be brought immediately into treatment before it devolves into the emergency that we have right now. I believe those men out there are dangerous to themselves and to others right now. In fact, I've noticed when I go for my walks and when I go shopping, Lori's really upped the ante. I think she's using those men right now to help her. And that's not good. I mean, every time I go outside right now, I feel like I'm in danger. And I think it's partly because those men are loose and they're crazy.
Not sure exactly on what men she's talking about. I remember I was watching this last night and I was thinking like, man, what men is she talking about? What men are she seeing that are this crazy, where it feels like a very dangerous situation? You know, I get it. There's a lot of scary people in the world, but these men with vagina butts, like, what are they doing that is so scary? And why do they have a mental illness for not following the Gail Commandments? You know, I guess they didn't store money in their bank account and made a savings, you know? Or maybe they bought too many electronics that they didn't need. I don't really know. But they weren't following the Gail Commandments and now they can't poop because of it, I guess. I don't really know. Jesus gave them the butts, I guess, but it's just all so silly and contrived and confusing. But you know, Gail here thinks that this is all real, but I genuinely do wonder whether she saw men out there that were just sort of like sitting there and she just looked at them and thought they were crazy. I don't really know what she does, but it gets pretty wild whenever she gets out in public. She has gotten in trouble in public before. She was at a bus stop a few years ago, and she was over there calling a girl a Jesuits and like insulting people. And there's this other guy who's like calling the police on her. Really weird stuff going on at the bus stop. But it sort of just shows you that, you know, Gail is not all there whenever she's making trouble at a bus stop or something. But I mean, she isn't there all right now. I mean, look at her. She's telling a story about how these men that are up in space with space age technology can't poop because Jesus Christ, you know, removed their booty hole. It's a really strange story that continues to get more and more strange as you hear it. And I'm going to go ahead and let you hear some more.
Please remember what Jesus told me would happen to me if I didn't do the Gail Commandments, that I'd go mad, that I'd get off my Seroquel and go feral, be like a crazy cat. And then I'm going to have a link to the video about what would have happened to me if I quit taking Seroquel. Imagine what could have happened to me if I wasn't taking Seroquel and doing the Gail Commandments over the past year, when I didn't hear from any of my men for a year, even when I had emergencies and needed their guidance. But because I was on Seroquel and doing the Gail Commandments, I handled myself wisely. Regarding that cup that I got. Let me go get it. I washed it. Here it is. Yeah, this cup is my men put part of their penis on it. It's like around the rim. So if I drink from the cup, they can ejaculate into my mouth, I guess, when I drink the cup. That's what they told me. And it's made out of Zach Knight's semen.
Now you really gotta think about this. You're watching an old woman on the internet talk about how this coffee mug is not ceramic. It's not made of any kind of, hard material like that. It's made out of semen. It's made out of fluids that come out of a guy's junk. And it's just so gross. Why is she talking about this? I don't really know. It's a weird situation. Old Gail here, I'm not sure where this idea came from. I guess she pre-ordered that mug from somewhere, or she got it customized somewhere. Maybe somebody gave it to her. I'm not really sure. But it says on the side there, Zach Knight's perfect penis. And if you remember last time, I believe I showed you guys her talking about Zach Knight's perfect penis and how it can shoot like spider webs out of it. You know, really weird stuff. Not sure where she got this idea from, that all of these men's penises are part of that mug, and saying that whenever she drinks from it, she can taste their, junk. It's just, ew, yuck. What the heck, man? Why is it whenever you're drinking coffee, you want to taste that? Ew, just like, what is up with that? That's so gross. I don't know what happened with her, but here she is doing all this stuff. But I want to move on to a separate subject because she goes off about this coffee mug, and she continues to go off about how her men need to do the Gail Commandments and no longer be able to not poop. You know, they need to get fixed. You know, they need to get fixed. They need help. We're going to be moving on to the Brent Spiner video. This is a European actor who Gail is absolutely obsessed with. She tosses his name around all the time. She thinks that she's married to Brent Spiner, and Brent Spiner is the president of the United States. And Gail here calls herself the vice president, that she is this empress, you know, epic woman of the United States, you know, second command, let's just say. And Brent Spiner, well, he knows a lot more about Gail than we probably do, and the internet probably does. You know, maybe there's some forums that really have old Gail history, but Brent Spiner here talks about how Gail's been obsessed with him for over 22 years. That was back in, oh my god, that was back in like 2002, man. YouTube wasn't even made yet, and the internet was still just getting off the ground. But, you know, Gail here was obsessed with him in her 40s. She's about 65, 66, I think. But in her 40s, she was still going after old Brent Spiner and thought she was married to him, I suppose.
Hello, this question is for you, Brent Spiner. It's an honor to meet you.
Thank you, Nathaniel.
Along with stardom comes a lot of attention, some wanted, some unwanted. And there's this woman named Gail Chord Schuler who's become somewhat of an internet meme by devoting this crazy YouTube channel to you. I'm wondering if you've ever heard of her and if you have a response to her claims and so forth.
Well, you know, nobody here knows what you're talking about except for you. And so I'd be glad to answer you privately about that. But I do know about it. It's only been going on for about 22 years.
Oh my God.
That would be me. I'm next.
I've never met her or spoken to her. She has a very rich fantasy life. And God bless her.
Thank you.
And that was Brent Spiner's response to old Gail and what he kind of thinks about her. And I think he responded very well to the question. It sounds like he feels very sorry towards her. And, you know, everybody has a good right to be sorry towards this woman. She's clearly mentally ill to a very vast degree. But also, unlike somebody like Tony Chase or like a good old Cyrax, you know, she can take care of herself. I mean, you look at her on screen, there she is. That's a more recent up-to-date version of herself. That was about a month ago. You're seeing right there. She doesn't look too bad for someone who's 66, my opinion anyway. And, you know, she knows what to do. She knows to shower. She knows to take care of herself. She has plenty of life advice knowledge on functioning. You know, she's very high functioning despite having all these weird fantasies about Brent Spiner and the Church of Gail and the spaceship and all this weird stuff. She's doing pretty well for herself. And, you know, I have no ill will towards Gail, I'm gonna be honest. I just think that a lot of stuff she says is funny. That's my general opinion of it. You know, the racism stuff, you can get angry about that, but I think I can chop that up to like mental illness and people giving her lines and stories to read. I feel like some people are probably manipulating her, and you know, if they want to keep doing that, you know, go for it, bucko, you know. I'm not gonna stop you. We have so many things to see, and Gail has so much to say. Of all these stories that she has, a lot of them are about her husbands, some of them are about Karambo the gorilla. There's a lot of bizarre stories she has, but we're gonna pick up where we left off, where she was talking about the vagina butts and how the men can't poop. Apparently they do eventually poop, and they eventually do fix their issue, and here's just what she has to explain to us.
I had been making slow and uneven progress. While I understood the anatomy and biology involved, I didn't quite understand the science. I knew I was going to need more help. I needed a real scientist, someone who knew everything from the 3 phases of matter to how weather balloons worked, someone with real knowledge, with a solid reputation that one could trust. It was while I was on my way for a coffee break that my prayers had been answered. Rolling up on a skateboard, a white lab coat sailing behind him in the wind, was none other than Bill Nye the Science Guy. "What's up, dude?" Bill Nye proclaimed. One of our church members in the hallway gasped. "Bill Nye the Science Guy!" they exclaimed. This got the attention of the entire floor. Church members began pumping their fists, chanting, "Bill, Bill, Bill!" "Bill Nye," I said. "Boy, am I glad to see you. You're like an angel sent from God himself."
That's right, Bill Nye the Science Guy is on the Church of Gail in this spaceship up in the stars, ready to solve this butt vagina problem where they can't poop. Just like, oh my god, what do I even say about this? I don't even know what to commentate at this section because it's just so out of whack, and it gets worse as it goes on. As always, it gets more and more depraved and insane as time goes on. I don't even know if I'm allowed to show or let her talk about any of the experiments that she talks about. She talks about how they experiment with the subjects that are having these issues, but they're all like really racist and really just kind of weird. You know, if you watch Gail, you know what I'm talking about. But essentially, all I can tell you is that the doctors in this story, they end up blinding people. They end up completely like guttering some guy's junk. And then they give him $5 at the end of it. It's just like, oh, well, you're blind now. Here's $5. You know, you're welcome. Next patient, please. We're here to experiment on you. And it's just so wild. But I'm going to let her go ahead and show you guys what the solution to this whole ordeal is.
Very soon, we had collected a diverse testing group consisting of prison inmates, welfare recipients, illegal immigrants, mentally retarded orphans, prostitutes, and of course the homeless. Each participant was promised $5 for their cooperation. With no time to lose, we dove straight into the testing phases. My laboratory desk turned into my literal drawing board. As each idea rushed to mind, I found myself scribbling furiously like a madman. Sketch after sketch, formula after formula, I drew out plans and diagrams that would be immediately handed off to Bill Nye for implementation. "No can do, Brent," he would report. "The subject pooped from every orifice, then immediately..." Or, "Hey, Brent, they again, but this time they came back as a poop-craving zombie." Or, that didn't work. It had the same result as the human centipede idea. Hundreds of ideas, hundreds of sketches, hundreds of formulas. My mind churned like a machine, and after every failure, I found myself right back at my desk, head in my hands. Finding a solution was beginning to seem hopeless. "This should do it," Bill said as he eyed the syringe in his hands, flicked it with his fingers and squirted out the air bubbles. He turned and stuck the needle into the bicep of a large prison inmate. Moments passed as we waited for the results. All of a sudden, the inmate's eyes bulged, and he began screaming. Startled, I jumped to my feet, my body stiff with full alarm as I gripped my desk with one hand. The screaming crescendoed like a siren. The inmate at his face, full teeth bared. As his eyes rolled back into his head, mountains of poop began pouring out of his eyes. He continued screaming. He screamed until his entire bowels had emptied themselves from his eye sockets and covered the floor of the lab. I sighed and collapsed back into my chair. I peeled the latest sheet of paper off of my desk and crumpled it up into a ball, tossing it into a now overflowing trash can of discarded, failed designs. Bill Nye patted the now blind inmate on the shoulder, handing him a $5 bill on his way out of the room.
But yeah, you can see right there about how crazy this whole story gets, my friends. She's talking about how people are pooping out of every orifice of their body. It's like, God, man, that's a really ugly image. Like, about the poop coming out of the guy's eyeballs, and he's like struggling, and then they give him $5 and just go like, well, a job well done, you know, next patient. You see what I'm talking about now. But good old Gail Chord Schuler here, you know, I don't have any ill will towards her. Her wild ideas entertain me. I think it's quite something. I think it's quite something indeed. You know, don't give Gail a tough time if you're gonna go comment on a YouTube channel. I don't promote that kind of stuff with this person. You know, she's not Cyrax. She's not Earl Doobie. She's just really out of her marbles, you know? You don't have to be a predatory person to be on my channel, you know? I don't make videos just about PDF files, but Old Gail here is entertaining, and I plan to watch much more of her in the future and do a lot more coverage on her, because 1,200 videos, folks, is a lot of videos to go through and a lot of lore to cover. And lore I will cover in the future will involve a variety of subjects that she talks about, my friends. And I'm going to keep digging and digging and digging and see what I can find to talk about in the future. But as of right now, let me go ahead and do my shout-outs. Now I'd like to shout out Cloak, William Herrera, Okie Dog, Greek Girl, Acquiesce Peters, Mad33s, Lucas Werner, Dragon X Rage, Ads1, A Real Human Not Lizard Man, Straw Hat Boofy, Pepperbox, David Stinky Finger, Methmaster, Megan is a Ghoul Lover, Brooks Looks, Junsey, Husky Leaf Gaming, Mr. V, Martin Broward, Victorianox, Gonzol, Psycho Cheese, Bank Leaks, Brian Miller, Boperator Blue, Atomic Renegade, Oversoul, Dead Damsel, Chris, Codename Dirty Birdie, JC, Cobra Commander, Pacific, R. August, Evan Reed, Adbin, Jakey is Sid, The Greek Girl Next Door, The Dude from Cheers, Troy Ya Boy, Combat Sloth, Kirk's Decals, Joshua Roberts, Afro Rob, Mr. CT, Revocation TV, Michael Furberger, Sammy D, Rebus, Gergatron, Get Zapped, Crodmog, Chapo Blanco, NO76, Samwise Fresh, Peanut Mama, Miracle Here, Alex Ninjas, Tobias Icon, Nikki, Erica Michelle, Jeff D, Siggy, Mr. Masquerade Killer, Livewire, Clowny, Old Roman Bulldog, Christian Almighty, Ricari, The Golden Fool, Midton Pews, Jessica, Sparks Cast, Jesse Erickson, Michael Stewart, The Akron Goblin Sanctuary with David Gregory, Ballsacks Refuse, Slitman, Kathy, Akuma's Wrath, G, Alex, HT, Electric Lou, Kino Tech USA, Mark Lass, B Salt, Bean Burrito, Joshua Bonilla, Only Fighting Me, Ultra Jesus, Raman Sanchez, Moth Still Blues Only Clue, Spoon TV, Anime Lover Shihan, Sewer Slide Station, Nick Cliff, Kellogg's, Nabs, Imbode, House of Dar, Chiefy Keef, G-Man, Protokino, Dark Doms, Jet Maximum, Miss Meowstein, Lucky Luke, Dave Peterson, Ruben Gridge, Funky Fresh, Salvador, Red, Uranus69, Tamron Hall, Steve from Machete Squad, Corey Rosellas, The Sludge Count, The Hod Slayer, Adam M, Stephanie Swan, Great White Hype, Lasad Boy, Meat Ogre, Magic Princess, Silvagen, AIDS, Claudia Diaz, Bebop Cowboy, Zeb Flepson, Mike Onazole, The Raven Corax, Not So Dank, Miss Pissy, Gnomebody, Mickey Eld, Goth Queen, Sewer Slime, Final Girl, Never Around, Mitcat, Waterberry Greatest, OGG, Random Games, Fall Autumn, Jason Hunter, Lotus Man, Fitzy's Findings, Herb Woods, Abe, 5715, Diesel's Granny, Jeff of Dead David Clan, Smithers, Fearless Jake, Lord David Reverend, Drew York, None Ya Business, A Turtle of Crows, Pink Armored Frog, A Man Named Jack, Sofa Ninja, Sunshine, Akanatum, Mango Stars, Isometric Design, William Forte, Sparky, Merville, Jack Burton, Matthias, R. Yamati, MX Sinister, Matt, Retro, Rapture Seeker, Matthew Hibbard, The Rich Desk, RBL, Gilliam, M3 Kita, Yo Wizard Shark, Visa Runty, Purple Peak, Brian Rizzo, Mr. Fantastic, Hopper, Betsy Blackbird, Fruity, Murderous Mushroom, Kami Usman, Paul, Pug, Eggs, Jet of Council of 8, Troticus Maximus, Raven in Flight, Ivy Scooting, Firewolf Kanji, Bogey Fan, Vibe Check, Vibe System, Kenny C Music, Filler, Cali Dude, Rocket Queen, Rocket Science, Miss Starscream, Level 25, Sushi Cat Yum, Raspy Wolf, David Grunga, Shutterdown Sam, Bones Wild, Eyes of Deceit, Primeval, Yamama Secretly David, Boxroom, Costas, Stephen Thurman, Thomas Usman, Death God Duo, Dreadhead David, Haley Cantaloupe Cakes, Liam William, The Stream That Jake Built, Box 64, Saggy Raggy, Rax Corp, Moth Loves Detracting, Nerdy Birdie, Jojo's Woodshed, Rolled Up Podcast, Spectre Blue, Sumstoner 69, Dion, M White, David and Fred Slapfight, Steve from Wormhaven, Unknown Poster, Orange Jasmine, Alzafi, Stylicide Silence, Sauce, Builder Cat, Solidus Film Nerd, Miss Me Seeks, Rocket Queen, Elijah Webster, Emily's Dismantling Delulus, Wild River Gaming, Lord Humongous, Alyssa Jakulik, Incoherent Screaming, Demon King Pickles, Harry Genitals, Hammond Egger, Punky Squirrel 666, Joyful Danae, Mama Becky, DB, Timothy McGettigan, William Herrera, Michael Feldman, Banshee XL, Oppenheimer, B, Heshi, Orky Cook, The Hat Man, Lord of Worlds, Depressed Rabbit, Easy Street, Sweaty Prolapse, James, TJ Bender, Otatapu, Tanis Finest, Digital Dream, Nolan, Watch Me Print, Slasher Minifilms, Honda Civic, Gentees, Tranter, Beavis Malverde, Poofy Mooncakes, Edward Wadden Hain, Charlie Gill, Fill Me Up Dude, Bakano Sensei, Roboto San, Okie Doll, Dark Chocolate, and Mad 33. Thank you guys for y'all's support. There's over 300 of you guys. It's a wild thing that we got this far, but thank you for your support. It means everything to me. Peace out, everybody.